Hey everybody, welcome to another review. I apologize for not being around as much. Things have been kind of hectic and busy around here. I'm hoping that at some point in time we're able to experience some sense of normalcy again, whenever that may be. As you can see, I was finally able to get a haircut. I was able to finally get my beard fixed up, which I'm still going to have to do again eventually. But today's review is based off of possibly one of the greatest shows to have ever been created, in my opinion. And that's saying a lot considering how many shows there have been in the past, present, and possibly into the future, even though we don't know what the future may hold. Having said that, today's review is off the show Breaking Bad, starring Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, Anna Gunn, R.J. Might, Dean Norris. It's a show about mild-mannered family man, high school chemistry teacher Walter White, who is diagnosed with terminal lung cancer, and his family is not financially secure enough to be able to handle the cost of his treatment and even the bills afterwards when he does pass away from the horrible disease. He is enticed, if you will, into the drug world of the methamphetamines. Partnering with his former high school student, Jesse Pinkman, he uses his chemistry skills to be able to create some of the purest methamphetamines, and it starts gaining the attention of rivals, and it starts gaining the attention of those who are hooked on the drug. Unfortunately, it starts gaining the wrong type of attention as the world of being a criminal is entering into Walter White's family, and he finds himself becoming that much more intoxicated with the power of being an underground, well-known drug kingpin, if you will. The first season is always the introduction of the characters and the storylines, and we're finding out Walter White's diagnosis and his family and what it means to be able to provide, leave something behind. Other than the legacy of a drug kingpin, it's all about leaving something behind for his family to be able to live comfortably on and in peace without having to struggle financially. The show starts off. This first season is always very slow when it comes to certain shows, depending on whether it's, say, for example, 24, The Shield, Angel, Supernatural. But with a drama show like this, it's always going to start off very slow, as it's all about the character exposition. This first season ends on one of those exciting cliffhangers where it just catches you completely off guard, and that's the beautiful thing about a show like Breaking Bad. Vince Gilligan had this ability to have a specific season end on a certain note, but it could also end. It could have also been taken as the complete ending of that particular series, which made it that much more interesting for me as a fan. The second season introduces the characters of Gus Fring, Mike Ehrmantraut, and even Saul Goodman, the criminal lawyer that Jesse and Walt use in order to launder their drug money. The second season is essentially continuing the progression of Walter White and how he is becoming more intoxicated with power and respect that this drug is getting him, and the family, and while making the drug, if you will, and his family is suffering on top of it, and at the same time, he's lying, and he's also embracing that sense of duty, that sense of power. His continual excuses of, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this for my family. Yet, you know that he's attained enough money to leave the drug world, but again, we've all have experienced. I don't want to say we've all. Some of us have experienced that sense of, well, I want to be able to have some sense of control in my life. I want to be able to have some sense of power in my life. And if I lose that power, if I lose that respect, then I don't have anything. And that's the character of Walter White. He prides himself on being able to provide for his family, but also being able to stand up for himself. And that's what the drug world does for him. The drug world allows him to be the man that he couldn't be as a high school teacher and even as a car wash employee. He's able. It gives him that sense of confidence and that power, and that's how to me Bryan Cranston is able to capture that sense of hopelessness with the character, but that sense of arrogance and power and pride. And this second season is pure gold, wonderfully acted, builds upon the storyline, and is enthusiastically intense. The third season is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated seasons, and the reason why I say that is it introduces two of the most terrifying antagonists of the series, and that is the Tuco twins. And when they come onto the screen, and for two actors who never had any prior acting experience for as far as we know, they are so convincing as these silent but deadly twins that don't say anything, but when they come on the screen, they just scare you. I mean, they literally frighten you. And with the exception of one episode in this season titled, I want to say it's titled The Fly. That's one episode I don't like, but every other episode of the season is pure gold. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's wonderfully intense, and it's so intoxicating with its intensity that I remember I would just binge watch every episode with the exception of The Fly after I watched that episode, because I just didn't particularly care for it too much. As you could tell, it was a filler episode. But again, the character progression of Walter, Jesse, Hank, Skyler, even Walt's son, Walter Jr. Just absolutely amazing writing and acting in this season. The fourth season is where things begin to come to a head, and when you get to the fourth season, it's all bets are off. Everything from beginning to end is absolutely top-notch perfection. Just wonderfully acting, intense. The writing is brilliant. The atmosphere is just stifling, and you just can't help but wonder what's going to happen next. And when you get to this episode of Crawl Space, how it ends, oh my goodness, just wow, just leaves you on the edge of your seat, and it just, man, I don't want to get into any spoilers here, but the fourth season is where Breaking Bad enters into the territory of in my opinion, of becoming the greatest series of all time. Brilliant masterpiece television here. You get to the fifth season, the fifth and the final season. Now, with this season in particular, they were split up into two parts, even though you could view it as one season in particular. But the fifth season is where things come to a head, and Vince Gilligan is such a gifted writer that he managed to achieve a feat that is not easily attained within certain television series. Is being able to take what happened in the first season and still have it be of some consequence throughout the season, and yet tie it all together and have all the loose ends completely tied together by the time you get to the fifth season. And everything from the fifth season even into the fifth season is just amazingly accurate as far as being able to keep the audience captivated with the writing and the acting and the atmosphere. And Ozymandias is one of the greatest episodes of all time in Breaking Bad television history. There's another episode, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the title of this episode because I know I will butcher it to all end. But it ends in one of the most high octane, action packed fashion, where it's just, I remember when that episode ended, it was just you were upset that it ended, and you're like, oh my god, I have to wait until next Sunday to watch it. It just left you breathless. You were shaking, and I just loved that episode. I am not going to try to pronounce that title because I know I'll butcher it, so please forgive me on that. But the fifth season, bar none, perfect from beginning to end. Loved every second of it. Breaking Bad, again, just one of those type of shows that you wish that you could just erase from your memory and watch it all over again just so you can experience the greatness. When I first got into Breaking Bad, when I first heard about it, actually, I heard that there were people there. I heard a lot of people talk about how great it was, and I remember going to Target and seeing the season on DVD and thinking, "Oh, you know what? Let me just go ahead and give it a shot." And as I was getting cashed out, the cashier was like, "Breaking Bad, have you watched the show before?" I said, "No, this is my first time watching it." He said, "Man, you're in for a treat." And when I sat down and watched it, I was hooked from then on, and I love the show, and I highly recommend it to those. I know there are plenty of other people who have watched the show, but for those who haven't, you are completely missing out. You definitely need to watch it. I recommend it with all my heart and soul and mind. You can't go wrong with it. It's not one of those action-packed shows from beginning to end. It is a very slow process where it is all about the characters. It is all about the writing, and you have to be able to sit there and become immersed within their worlds and find out exactly why they are the way they are, and what is making them being, and why they feel the need to continue to be in the way they are. Is how certain characters start off as being very unlikable, and they become likable much later on throughout the series. Walter White, the original intention was for him to transforming from Mr. Chips into Scarface. Walter White, when you think about it in hindsight, if this was the 70s or the 80s, Walter White would be, and is, the clear villain. You would want to see him go down, but the problem is, and it's not, I don't want to say it's a problem, but when the anti-hero had became that much more popular within literature, video games, or in television series or films, we vicariously live those characters because they're able to say and do the things that we wish they could do, but at the same time we know we can't do it because, for one, it's illegal, and two, it never really ends well for them, obviously. But either way, Breaking Bad is, I can't recommend it enough. As I said, I wish I could just erase it from my memory and watch it all over again, just so I could experience the same type of sensation that others experienced because they were able to watch it from the beginning. Whereas with me, I came into it fairly late, and I was able to catch up by the time the 5th season started. But that is my review of Breaking Bad. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought about the show in the comment section. Provide a like, provide a heart. Let me know on my Facebook what you thought about it. And the next review will be coming fairly shortly. I'm not sure when, but I have to look through my collection to see exactly what show or what film I'm going to review for my YouTube. But either way, thank you everybody for spreading the word. Be safe, be healthy, and I will be seeing you all again, my friends. Take care. Peace out.